Chania, the largest city of West Crete, the glorious Chitonia of antiquity, built by Chithonus, son of Minoas according to myth, revealing thus its establishment lying far lost in time. Hidden in the arms of a small cove, stretching today at the foothills of the celebrated Madara Mountains, it is the administrative and financial center for the western Cretan district known as Chania County. A large city, second in population in Crete, unfolds its history, services, comforts, idiosyncrasies, and beauty, offering many enticements for an enjoyable and carefree stay, while at the same time there are many interesting spots to visit. The well-preserved, imposing Byzantine walls of the city are in many areas constructed on fortification ruins of the Hellenistic period. Constructed with the building materials of ancient Chithonia, with an asymmetrical outline, it is endowed with small, beautiful, rectangular and polygonal towers. Fortress Firka was the base of the military commander of the city, while during the Turkish occupation and up until recently, Firkas was being used as a prison and military quarters. On the small tower of the northern side, on December 1st, 1930, the flag of the unification with mainland Greece was put up. An iron chain reaching from Firkas to the base of the lighthouse was securing and protecting the port and the city from the sea when the city was under siege. The small, quaint port, encircled by the Venetian arsenale, meaning shipyard, on the southeast side is a host to small and medium-sized boats. In the central arsenale, built by the Venetians in 1585 and renovated today, the Mediterranean center of architecture is located. The center is very active in organizing seminars, presentations, events, and symposiums, and makes an enormous intellectual contribution to the city and the region of Eastern Mediterranean in general. Kitsos and Doris, with their baggage, interweave the beautiful memories and romance of gone-by times with a comfortable visit to the reality of today. On the northwest side of the port lies the Naval Museum of Chania. Numerous exhibits displayed on 2 floors bear witness to the long correlation of the city with the sea. In the city, there are visible signs from the past times and the different cultures that have occupied the island. In the heart of the city flourishes today the archaeological museum, housed in the old Franciscan monastery, while the Venetian temple of San Salvador hosts the collection of remarkable Byzantine and post-Byzantine exhibits. Other significant sites of the city include the Church of St. Rocos, Santa Magdalena, St. Eleftherios, St. Nicholas, and the famous Episcopal. The town market stands out today as the jewel of the city and is a point of reference for the locals. Impressive in size and shape, it is built on the ruins of Piazza Forma Bastion and constitutes a unique construction of the roofed market on the island. The 76 business establishments, loaded with the bountiful riches of the Cretan land and seas, satisfy with mainly traditional products the gastronomical and other demands of the modern consumer. A central recreation center of the city is the town gardens. In the eastern part of the city, at its lower height, the Akrotiri Cape hosts the tombs of great politicians of Crete, with its panoramic view to the sea and the bay. On the western side opens up Nea Hora, with its beautiful beaches where the visitor can enjoy the sea. Village Maleme holds strong on its contemporary history memories of the Battle of Crete. The fierce battles here brought death to thousands of German parachutists in Second World War, lying peacefully today at the German cemetery on the hill. At the furthest point of Cape Spatha, and after a difficult journey, lies the small bay of Cadziglieri, compensating the visitor with a marvelous beach. Next to the hill are found the ruins of an ancient temple, Tichtinos. Castelli-in-Kissamos lies hidden on the western side of Castelli Bay. A little further to the south, and past the small church, carved in the rock, we come to the second port of Chania, where larger boats moor. This port connects Crete to Peloponnesus. Further to the north stretches Gramvousa, the beautiful complex of islets, with its Venetian castle built at the highest and most accessible part of peaceful Gramvousa. The large beach of Phalassanas belongs to the municipality of Castelli. It is an extensive beach visited by thousands of people every summer. At the southern part of the resort, the ruins of the ancient city and port that flourished in the historic and Hellenistic times can be found. The large towers of the port can be seen today, far away from the sea, due to the elevation of the western part of Crete. A large stone throne, possibly Poseidon's, bids farewell to the visitor. Ancient Polyrrhenia of the historic and Hellenistic times had Phalassena and Castelli as its seaports. The monastery of Chrysiskalitissa, uniquely built on the rocks of the beach, is on the way to Lafonisi with its well-known beaches. Lafonisi is one of the most quaint seaside spots of Chania County, with a long, sandy beach painted gold with the brushes of sunlight, with dotted rocks encircled with sand. Walking on the shallow coast, it is easy to cross over to the sandy island, once a refuge to the Lebanese cedars. Paleokora is the first from a series of towns spotted on the southern coastline from west to east. A beautiful town, is bustling with life in winter and is festive in summer, built on the foundations of ancient Calamidi town, with the ruins of the Venetian castle on the hill at its southern part. Hotels, self-catering apartments, hostels and all kinds of accommodation units offer a comfortable and pleasant stay. All along the beach, fish taverns and restaurants with friendly staff are waiting on every customer's needs. From down here, the moon casts its magic, especially on a full moon night. From Kandanos and pausing for a stop at Messalvia awaits the famous Messalviano Gorge, with the Harrier eagles as its permanent residence. Voukouriez spreads on the fringes of the plain, rich in producing citrus fruits, olive oil, honey, forest and stock farming products. The active Cultural Affairs Committee organizes the well-known Lidonos feast with traditional foods, dancing and singing. Crossing the plateau of Omalos, we arrive at Samaria Gorge, which has been characterized as a worldwide monument of natural beauty. Every year, thousands of tourists visit the gorge, Its crossing is a 6 to 8 hours hike that never fails to impress nature lovers. Horas Fakion, a small, bustling, historic town. This small town captivates the mind with its impressive hill climbing, natural beauty, beaches, nature and its peculiarities. The port of Horas Fakion is the largest in the county on the South Sea and has daily boat trips to Lutro, Paleochora and Gavros. West from Sfakia, we come across the big, known for its steep slopes gorge of Aradina, which in the past has been the invincible guardian of Aradina. Built once at the edge of the gorge, the deserted village displays at present the ruins of a great ancient city it used to be. At the end of Nimbriotical Gorge stretches out the historic plateau with its rebellious inhabitants. At the northern end of the plateau lie the ruins from the two Ottoman castles that record the destructive impact of the Ottomans' activity in the area. The road trip to Asfender village takes you through striking sights of rocks on the sides of the road. There lies the Neolithic cave with the impressive but uninterpreted inscriptions and wall engravings. The seaside resort Stavros, with its carved buildings along the beach, is the village where Zorba the Greek was filmed, starring Anthony Quinn. The 300 monasteries and Byzantine churches in the county denote the deep religious feelings of its residents. Gouverneto Monastery, a renowned Venetian monastery, is actively engaged, as many other monasteries, in the production and packaging of oil, honey and wine products. More impressive, the monastery of Tsanga Rolon, further to the south, resembling a fortress, has been a revolutionary and spiritual center throughout its long history. The large Suda Bay opens up to the South Sea, observing daily the sun's journey. A deep and safe port connects with scheduled daily trips the county with Piraeus and the world. On the side of Drepano is the ancient Aptera or Aptara. These ruins and the excavation findings indicate the power and the size of the city. Kalives is a seaside village with a beach described as neat and enjoyable by its visitors. The small creek that flows through the village is an added note of beauty with its taverns and hospitable accommodation units. Vamos is the capital city of the municipality, a town with intense traditional character and the development of agro-tourism. Warm hospitality is the prime service offered at the redecorated traditional guest rooms in town. A stroll on the paved streets through the village sparkles memories of distant times. Sitting at the cafes of the town, the sun continues its journey, dressed in the colors of the afternoon. After the sunset, the traditional taverns send out their smells and enticing appetites. A little further east, Almirida, with the windless bays, long beaches with crystal clear waters, cool taverns and coffee bars, is swarming with bathers throughout summer. Here are found churches from the early Christian period, with preserved to this date their floor mosaics. The blue of the sea, the small sailing boats crossing the sea, The inviting beaches and the small coves of the bay compose a panoramic view from the hilltop west of the resort. Plaka is justifiably called the balcony of Suda Bay. At Kokino village, the visitor is naturally attracted to the blowing glass workshop, where he can purchase the impressive and inspirational creations of the workmen. Small Byzantine churches come into view during the road trip to the historic monastery of St. George of Caridis. The dilapidated facilities of the old oil factory and the silk workshop bear witness to the role of the monastery in the previous years. These days, the monks are occupied with the making of incense. A visit to the beautiful Cavallo Hori is worthwhile. The built-up mouth of the Byzantine wells at the entrance of the village is a unique architectural site. At the Historic and Folklore Museum, rare exhibits are displayed. In this village, Kopaneli, an old traditional needlework practice, is being preserved. The villages of the municipality are known for their lush green nature and have become a popular destination to both local and foreign visitors. The traditional homemade cheese pies, finger bites and strong raki are a familiar hospitality treat. The history of the municipality of Georgioupoli is merely a century old. It was built in 1898 and named after the appointed governor of Crete, Prince George, as the first governor of the newly acquired state of Crete. A quiet fish village a few decades back, at present it is one of the most visited tourist resorts in Crete. Here, nature has been generous. Nature reserves and rivers vary the landscape, clear, organized, and cared for by the municipality authorities' beaches. In luxurious large and small accommodation establishments, Cretan hospitality finds its utmost expression. Here, the modern, highly developed and complete infrastructure is the living proof of the high standards of tourist services offered in Crete. A little high up from this town, the only lake on the island is found, Lake Kurna. Nesting in the arms of the mountains, in lush green, beautified with a variety of life and immersed in its midst, this beautiful lake every afternoon flaunts the golden hair of the Lady of the Tales, painted with the brushes of the sunlight. At the end of the village, further up from the lake, a wonderful cave, rich in stalactites, awaits to be discovered.